Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to this week's Charity Shops Pickups video. It's only Thursday. I'm recording this first thing Thursday morning, which means this is not a full week of pickups. However, it's already a full table of pickups. I'm supposed to be on a bit of a buying ban, you remember that, yeah? And Lex is coming this weekend, so although there probably will be more buying, there won't be any time for recording. So I'm doing this now. You're going to get to see what I bought Ka-ching. Doing this now, and you're going to get to see what I've bought so far this week. Whether you'll get to see the rest or not, I don't think it matters. Do you? Do you think it matters? Let me know. So I'm going to start with the top that I've got on. I'm going to change the camera so you can see. I'll stand up. It's slightly more see-through than I realised. I've just realised in the camera. And it's got immensely long sleeves. The only way that I can wear it is by hiding this bottom pattern section of the sleeves and pulling the sleeve all the way up to there and then letting it droop back down. But I still like it. It was from the Children's Hospice Southwest charity shop in Nailsea. Went there on Tuesday with Josh, and I almost hoped it wouldn't fit because it is the size that I used to be before I lost 6.5 stone. Always feels pointless losing weight if you're still going to wear the same size clothes, but it is a catalogue brand, so I should imagine it would have been too small for me, even at the size I was back then. Then you debate in your mind whether, am I just blaming catalogues for being too small or was I bigger? Anyway, it is a size 32 and almost hoped it wouldn't fit, but it fits beautifully and it's going to be lovely for summer. It was £3.50. And I got a second one in the same shop. I think this was £3.50 as well. Also catalogue. Simply Be, this one. Yeah, £3.50 as well. This is more of a jersey tunic. It looks massive on camera, doesn't it? But it is a wide fit jersey tunic, but it has pockets. We like a pocket. So 2 new tops for me, £3.50 each. And then, are we focusing? Focus, camera, this is a face. Okay, I'm going to do this little pile all in one kind of go. We went into, I can't think what it's called. It's a little independent charity shop. You know, it's not a large chain of charities. Josh and I went in. Their prices are always quite good, and additionally they had all ladies tops half price. So I got myself rummaging on the rails and I found a little pile of tops, and then I found 2 pairs of earrings in the 50p basket and a comforter that should have been 50p as well, and off I went to the till. And for some reason the ladies weren't using the till to do the adding up. I don't know. I sometimes find with older volunteers they're not massively comfortable with using the technology of the till or whatever. Or perhaps because the ladies' tops were half price, they couldn't make that work with the till. Maybe they couldn't make the till do the reduction or something. I don't really know. But Josh noticed the same thing that they were doing. There were 2 ladies on the till. They were dividing all the costs down by 50% and then adding them up in their head and no piece of paper and arguing between themselves about how much it was going to be. Taking quite some time about it as well, but it was a nice day. Anyway, they added it up, and the first issue that occurred was that one of them said, "Oh, that's not a lady's top, that's a man's top. It's a ladies' Adidas running top." And I said, well, it was in the ladies section, and it's in a ladies size. It's a 12 to 14, which is ladies sizing. And she said, oh, okay, no problem. But by then the other lady had already added it, subtracted it, divided it, multiplied it by 6, taken it to the length of pi, and then taken it back on. And they confused each other, basically. So she said, oh, I've taken it off, I've put it back on, I don't know where I am, so she had to start again. So this was originally £3 and should then have been £1.50 in the half price tops sale. Stay with me. And then I had 3 more tops, all which were going to be half price because they were ladies. So this one should come down to £1.75. This is a 2 at Sainsbury's. I just bought it because it's a nice pretty floral print. This one is an M&S pure linen. And obviously I bought it because it's linen, and that should have come down to £2 from 4. And then this is a rather nice Evans cardigan, double layer cardigan, and that should have come down to £2 from 4. I then had these 2 lovely pairs of earrings, which were both in the 50p basket, although these ones were marked at £1. So when I handed them to Lady, she said, oh, are they 50p? And I said, oh, well, they were in the 50p basket, but these ones do say £1, so perhaps they're meant to be £1, perhaps they're in the wrong place. I was quite happy to pay £1 is my point. And then finally, this comforter, which didn't have a price on it, and the lady said, oh, that will be 50p. So they'd done the lots of maths and adding up and subtracting and changing their minds and arguing amongst themselves about where they got to. And they got to £9.25, and then the lady said, oh, and this one for 50p, and the other lady said, oh, call it a tenner then. And I thought, 9.25 plus 50p isn't a tenner, is it? It's 9.75, but it's actually fine. I was actually quite happy at that point. Hand over my tenner. It's a charity. I'm very pleased with the stuff I got for £10. That's okay. So I paid my tenner and off I went. And then I thought afterwards, all that messing about it, when I added it up, it actually should have come to £8.25. It was a tenner. It was a tenner. It's for charity. It's not the end of the world, but it was a fiasco. I think this should be a lesson to charities that if it was the technology that scared those ladies and that's why they were trying to do it in their heads, and I got the feeling that the two ladies didn't necessarily get on very well, so they weren't prepared to agree with each other about how maths worked. But if it is the technology that's scaring your volunteers, charities, you should be aware of that. Some of the older volunteers, or in other charities, somewhere maybe where they might have learning difficulties, they can't necessarily deal with the technology, and they'd rather do it a simpler way. So where are these from? These were from a St Peter's Hospice earlier in the week, and I'm damned if I know where. I mean, the only earlier in the week could have been Monday. Where did I go Monday? I actually don't know. Shirehampton. Shirehampton, just before the car broke down. Popped into the charity shop in Shirehampton. This is the St Peter's Hospice. These Hotter sandals were £4.99. Slightly more than I'd like to pay, obviously, but still a very good price for Hotter sandals, and of course it is sandal weather. This Masai clothing company wide knit cardigan, £3.99. Same shop, I'm sure. Yeah. This Artscapes top. Artscapes used to be a really good one to look out for. Artscapes used to sell well, and then I think they went on to QVC, and now I think they're not as popular as they were. But that was £2.99, so that was worth a punt for £2.99. And then I think the rest of this is all nailsy. Won't necessarily remember where. I got this for Mum. Mum absolutely loves the Super Vet. I'm trying to get my face out so it'll focus. So this is Noel Fitzpatrick's autobiography, Becoming the Super Vet, Listening to the Animals. She loves that programme, and she likes a nice autobiography. That one, I believe that one was £1. No, it was £1.50. £1.50 in the Break charity shop in Nailsy. So she'll be pleased with that. I'll take that to her today. Also in that Break charity shop, I bought this really large, chunky, olive green necklace. I don't think it's any particular make or anything. It was £1.50, and I thought it was unusual. It's lozenge faceted beads. So, you know me, I'm not very good at buying jewellery. I leave that to Lex usually. However, while I was on a roll with buying jewellery, I paid £1 for these earrings. They are tiny brass owls. Really cute. They're for pierced ears, and they were £1 in... It's not a charity shop, it's a little second-hand shop at the top of Nailsy High Street. I paid £4.99 for this one in St Peter's Hospice. It is a brooch. It's initialed JJ, and I did look up the JJ and found out what it was, and now I've forgotten it again, so I'll have to look it up again before I can sell it. But this particular designer does a whole load of these brooches. I didn't realise when I picked it up it was this way up in the cabinet, and I thought it was a strange kind of cat on a shelf. It's an initial brooch. This designer does a range of initial brooches, and it's an F. So if your name begins with an F and you love cats and you want a designer pewter brooch, this one might be for you. It was £4.99, and it looks as though I can probably ask £9.99, so it probably wasn't a massively good investment, but it's all knowledge, isn't it? Like I said, I was interested because it had the initial. There was another one in the shop, also initialed. That one was just a cat sat in a basket chair by the same designer. I didn't get that one. In one of the charities, I think this was the Break as well. Yeah, it was. I got another collection of curtain rings for £1. These sell surprisingly well. I'm always surprised by how well they sell. In the St Peter's Hospice in Nailsy, I got an OXO Good Grips hand spiraliser. When I picked it up, I was tempted to keep it and use it myself for salads and so on and so forth. When I looked it up, they're £10.99. So I'll probably be selling it. And then one day I might find another one that isn't brand new in its packaging and keep that for myself. Also in that charity shop I got one of these. This is an Aladdin bento box. I paid £3.99, and if you haven't seen one of these before, the top unscrews and there's a section in there for part of your lunch, and then the middle unscrews as well, and there's another section so you can take a hot lunch. They're insulated. It's an insulated travel flask kind of style, and you can take a hot lunch and a hot dessert in the winter and everything if you want to, if you're going to work or whatever. It helps if you're not a clumsy clot when it comes to putting it back together. So these sell quite well. I don't think they're quite as great as they used to be, but that might be because fewer people are going to work. More people are working at home, aren't they? So in that little second-hand shop that we just talked about, I was really pleased to see these. There is, as far as I'm aware, no bloody value in these, apart from to me. I've got 2 Jennings, both of which I already have on my shelf downstairs. I've got Billy Bunter and the School Rebellion. I love Billy Bunter, and you very rarely come across him in charity shops. I think, A, he's very outdated, and B, the people who have him are keeping him. And then this one. This is My Side of the Mountain by Jean George. And the moment I saw it, it triggered an instant childhood memory for me of reading this one, and yet I hadn't remembered it for years. It's not like sometimes a book stays with you and you think about it for years and years and years afterwards. This one had gone, it had completely gone, except it obviously wasn't. It was buried in there somewhere, back in the back of the psyche. It was in there. And it's the story of a little lad. I don't know how old he is. I think he's probably 12-ish, 13-ish. And it's an adventure story. He runs away to live in the mountains. The burble says, I ran away to the Catskill Mountains in May. I had a penknife, a ball of string, an axe and $40. I knew how to fish and how to make a fire, and I thought that was all I needed. And I just really remember reading this as a kid. I remember reading this. And I'm really looking forward to reading it again. They were 25p each. £1 for a little chunk of my childhood returned to me. How fab is that? £1.50 in the Break charity shop for this Early Days comforter. This should easily be a 12 to 15. This one again, £2, but this one is Jellycat. This was in the Holly Hedge Sanctuary charity shop. Jellycat Bredita Duck, this is called. Bredita Duck. A little bit of knowledge. They do have some knowledge. In the Children's Hospital Southwest, £1.50 for this M&S Pink Spotty Rabbit plush. And also in the same place, £1.50 for this IKEA fairy doll. It's funny because I'd never seen any of these in my life, and then I've picked up 2 in the last 2 weeks. They don't have an awful lot of resale value, but I like them. And sometimes I just buy things because I like it. Sarah resells if you're there. I don't know which county Sarah lives in, but I do know her husband's a keen cricketer, and I know that Sarah likes a Wentworth jigsaw, so here's one for both of you. It's a Wentworth, and it's Worcestershire County Cricket Club, centenary year 1899 to 1999. I think it was £1.50. It was £1. It was in the Holly Hedge charity shop. Everything was priced, and of course I managed to search out the thing that wasn't. £1.50 for that Wentworth. This was after Josh had been in, young Josh had been in and gone, no, there isn't anything in there. I came out with an armload of stuff. This doesn't mean Josh is wrong, it means that we see differently. It means he's wrong, obviously, because but it means that we've discovered this before, and we've gone out and shopping in groups of resellers, is that you can all go into charity shop and all home in on completely different things, and then one of you might say there's nothing worth having, you're like, I've made a fortune. Just goes to show we are all different. Also in that charity shop where Josh said there was nothing was an embroidery kit. This one is a stenciled quick wicking rooster embroidery kit. Don't even know what brand it is. It's not clear to see the brand. But embroidery kit for £2.50. And then these last couple of bits, nearly done. Last couple of bits were for the St Peter's Hospice. This is not really worth much more than I paid for it, but I really liked it. It is a Wedgwood collector's plate, and that is Dickens in the middle with all of his characters around the outside. And there's a description on the back, and it says, an autographed portrait of Charles Dickens, 1812 to 70, novelist, journalist and playwright, is encircled by illustrations of characters from some of his most famous novels. And then there is a list of the characters. We've got Bill Sikes, Mr Pecksniff, Mr Micawber, Mrs Jarley, Artful Dodger, Mr Picnic, Quilp, Uriah Heep, Captain Cuttle and Alfred Jingle. And I think it's interesting that the characters they've gone for are the more character-y rather than the lead character. So for example in Oliver Twist, the lead character is Oliver, but the characters that have more depth are Bill Sikes, the Artful Dodger, Uriah Heep in David Copperfield. David is the main character, but Uriah Heep has so much more personality and depth of character, and I think that's interesting that that's who they've chosen to portray on this plate rather than just going for the popular choice. Finally, last but by no means least, 2 Portmeirion holly and ivy mugs for £1.99 the pair. Beautiful condition, possibly unused, no spoon marks in there. I think they've probably just been on display. Not a huge money spinner, the holly and ivy range. I looked them up. I might get 20 the pair. Might get 20 the pair. If I sell them individually, I might be able to get a little bit more for people buying replacements, but not a massive amount. That's it. That's the haul and all of the haul. I hope you've enjoyed this week's charity shop video. Reminder that if you see anything you like, drop me a message either on the email below or through Facebook or Instagram, and we can make an arrangement if you want to purchase, rather than wait for it to hit eBay, because as I've said many times now, I've got a backlog. It might not get to eBay for several weeks. So if you see anything you fancy, do give me a shout, and I will be back next week, no doubt, with another charity shop haul, because there doesn't seem to be any stopping me buying, does there? I don't seem to be giving it up. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye for now.